Hello, Facebook and Instagram. Hello, world. I don't know. I don't know why I always start these videos off like this. There has to be another way to start these videos. There has to be. I haven't found my flavor yet in starting my lives. I have been probably doing lives at some point within the last within the last 8 years. I have been doing lives in some capacity, and I always start them off with a "Hey y'all" or something. So I haven't figured it out yet. I will figure out how to start my lives, but until then, this is what you got. Happy Saturday. God, it is almost 10:30 here where I am. But I wanted to hop on. I wanted to hop on last night, but baby girl was tired, so I went to bed. Tonight I had went and celebrated a friend's birthday, so we had a birthday dinner, and then I got home, got the kids situated and in bed, and then I was just like, okay, let me just hop on, even if it's just for a little bit. And so I just wanted to hop on and share some things with you guys. I'm super excited to share what I'm going to share. But I wanted to first, I titled this, "That Was a Fail, Now What?" And so I like to get right into the nitty gritty of what the video is about. So for those of you that don't know, it's probably been about a few weeks now. I launched, or I would say relaunched, something that was near and dear to my heart, called The Breakout Woman. It originally started off as Breakout with Kim. It's also a combination of like the Bounce Back Queen. It's everything kind of tied into together, things that I'm passionate about, all things women, right? So women empowerment and learning, growing, developing, healing, this journey, whatever this looks like, right? And so last week I launched my first episode of basically like my YouTube series, which will also be like a podcast, so you'll be able to listen to it on podcast as well if you want to. And then I also went live to talk about it. And so in the midst of that, last Thursday was my first, what I call the breakout. And so the breakout is a monthly virtual meeting for women to get together and we just basically be. So it's a space for us to just simply be who we are. It's a space for us to, connect and build genuine connections. It's also an opportunity for us to learn and grow. So there'll be times where I will bring someone in to talk, and there'll be other times where we don't have an agenda. We just simply embrace each other and we're in a space together. And so this past Thursday was the first breakout was scheduled. And so I had a few women signed up, was super excited about it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, cause I was like, God, if I just have one woman show up to the virtual meetup, like I'm going to rock that thing as if it was 100 women that showed up, right? Because to me, I just want to be obedient to what you told me to do. And I believe that you told me to bring women together. And so I was like, if one woman show up, like I'm going to be in that thing, right? And so I ended up having like 5 women sign up, and I was like, okay, cool. Like we in there, like, let's go. So on Wednesday, I sent like a reminder email to the ladies. I'm just like, oh, can't wait to see you guys tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's the link, all the things. You know how we do in business or when you're building an organization, like you send reminder emails, all that stuff. And so sent reminder emails, let them know like, hey, can't wait to see you guys. Well, Thursday roll around, and I'm like, I feel like nervous because whenever you're building something, you wonder, like, is this what people need? Is this what they want? Are they going to connect with it? Like, you have all those thoughts in your mind. Do I need to be doing this? Am I just going to be another voice in the world? Like, all these different thoughts and feelings. But nevertheless, I was like, I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to do what I believe that God told me to do, which was build this. And so I was feeling uneasy on Thursday, but I like shook it off and I'm like, listen, Thursday night get here, we going to go in, right? And so Thursday night comes along. It was scheduled for 9:00 my time, 7:00 Pacific Standard Time, and I come downstairs to my office, I get my laptop ready, I open the laptop, I'm like, I go to the link where we're all gonna be meeting, and 9 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, okay, like nobody's in the room, it's fine. I'm gonna give people a little bit of chance to like sign in. It takes time for people to sign in. 9:05 rolls around, 9:10 rolls around, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't think anybody's gonna show up. And so prior to me logging in, I was praying to God, just praying to God, because like before I do anything like this, or anytime I do anything concerning God's people, because let me tell you, this ain't about me. I'll pray. I definitely listen to like worship, like praise and worship music, just to kind of like get my mind right. And also just to be sensitive to hear what God wants to say, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. And so I prayed, was listening to worship music, because I truly wanted to make sure that I was sensitive to what God wanted me to share with these women that were going to be on the live on Thursday. And so, like I said, I logged into the meeting on Thursday. 9 o'clock rolled around, nobody joined. 9:05 rolled around, 9:10, nobody joined. And I'm like, dang, like I know it was only 5 women that showed up, but like nobody showed up. And I immediately was like, dang, like maybe I missed it. Like maybe this isn't what God wants me to do. And I immediately shut that down, because let me tell you, it's not about the numbers. It's not about who shows up. It's about being obedient and doing what you believe God told you to do. I truly believe that many of us are in a time of our life, I'm not going to say season because people always say that, but I think it's from now till eternity, where God is really concerned about our obedience, not all the other stuff. He's not worried about how it looks. He's not worried about he's worried about you hearing his voice, hearing what he says to do, telling you what to do, and then you actively doing it. Will you do it? Will you show up if it's just an audience of one, which is God? God was my audience that day. Let me tell you what I did. So I shut the computer down at 9:10. I was like, okay, cool. Like, Lord, nobody showed up for the first one, but that's okay. You and me, we got time together, because the kids were already, getting ready to go. They were already upstairs going to bed. So I put my worship back on, and I just started like writing my notes. So I went back to the emails from when the women signed up. In the questionnaire, it asks like, what do you need? Like, why are you signing up for this? And then it asks like, what do you want to break free from? And I just went back and I like reread those, and I started writing them down and started meditating on it. And I was like, God, women say that they need wisdom. They need encouragement. They need ideas to push them forward. They need loving connections. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to feel connected with other women. They need to be connected with someone who can help push them with their goals and purpose. They need someone to help them step outside of their comfort zone. God, they said that they need people who can have genuine connections and build a sisterhood. God, they said they need community. They need a safe space. God, they said that they want to break free from toxic masculinity and toxic relationships. They want to break free from people pleasing. They want to break free from the stigma that all Christian women are the same. They want to break free from being lukewarm. They want to break free from acting out on emotions. They want to break free from toxic work environments. They want to break free from self-doubt. They want to break free from limiting beliefs. And they want to break free from feeling abandoned and feelings of abandonment. They want to break free from lack of self-worth and low confidence. And I just started like declaring and decreeing that they were going to be that God was going to deliver and break them free from all of those things. And not only was he going to deliver and set them free from all of those things, but then he was going to give them exactly what they needed. And guess what? I believe that he's going to do it whether or not they came on Thursday or not, because I did what I was supposed to do, and that was pray into those women and literally stand in the gap for them. So whether or not they showed up or not, it was my responsibility to trust that God was going to do what only he could do at the end of the day anyway, because it's not about me. I could have hopped on, I could have encouraged them, I could have prayed for them, and we could have logged off and moved on. But it was more important to me that I was obedient to God and what he said. And that I believed with all my heart that even if we didn't have a moment together, that he was still going to meet them in their place of need. So I say all that to say that, will you still show up when things feel like it is failing? Will you still show up? Will you still be there? Will you still stand in the gap when you feel like you heard that God said something and it doesn't show up the way you think it was supposed to? Will you still stand in the gap? It was my responsibility. Even though the ladies, they all had reasons why they couldn't make it. Some that ended up working overtime. Some ended up with their children for the rest of the night. Like, it was all things that, like, they didn't just forget and just decide not to show up. We're busy women. Things popped up. It just didn't work out, right? But will I still show up and be obedient and do what I believe God has called me to do, which was stand in the gap for women who need it? Do I believe it? Do I believe what God said that he's called me to do, which was empower women and to stand in the gap? Standing in the gap doesn't mean showing up on here doing this. Standing up in the gap doesn't mean showing up on that Zoom and saying, hey guys, what do you like? Yes, that would have been fun. Yes, to be able to break out of my normal routine and spend time with them would have been great. It's going to be great next month because we're going to do it again. I'm going to show up again the third Thursday. Whether people show up or not, I'm going to show up and be in the space because it's my responsibility to stand in the gap. So are you being obedient to what God has told you to do? Are you standing in the gap for who God has told you to stand in the gap for? What does your obedience look like to this in this season, in this time? And so once I started praying and decreeing, listening to praise and worship and doing all those things and believing that God met those ladies where they needed to be, whether they were on with me or not, I closed my notebook up, closed my Bible up, went upstairs and went to bed. To be honest with you, went to bed. Well, the next day I woke up, it was Friday, and it was also payday. So I was like, oh, payday. Now, typically, back in the day when it was payday, let me tell you, I would sign into that account I would sign up in that young account at midnight. Where are my coins, right? But, now God has blessed me, right? And so I typically don't even check the day, like what happens. Like, it's there, right? And so I wake up, I get the kids ready for school. I'm ready for work. I go to the gas station. No, I get to the car and I'm like, God dang it, I need gas. Where is my man? If for nothing else, to make sure I got gas in my car. Because, so I'm getting in the car and it's on empty, 0 miles. So I'm like, I got to get to the gas station. I get to the gas station, fill my tank up. It's like $47. I'm like, ooh, $47, gone. Get to the kids' school and the teacher is like, hi, the kids are going to summer camp, right? Like, I remember you saying something like that. And I'm like, oh, yes. And then I'm like, oh, yes. I know why you're saying this. Because I said that I was taking 3 kids to summer camp and I still haven't paid the summer camp registration fee. Gotcha. No worries. I got you, right? $225, gone. So I got in the car and I was like, Jesus, I haven't been out the house for 30 minutes and I've already spent $200 and over almost $300. I've been out the house for 30 minutes, spent $300. Like, I should have just stayed asleep. And right when I was getting ready to get frustrated, God reminded me of a year ago, about a year and a half ago, when that $225 would have broke me. I remember being in my car and needing gas and looking in my car for coins for gas, finding $5 in my cup holder for gas. I'm being real with y'all. This was like maybe a year and 2 months ago, because it was right before I got my job. And now God has blessed me with the ability to drop $300 in 30 minutes and not bat an eye, right? And so I began to worship and think like, God, thank you for turning things around for me. Because I remember what it was like when this wasn't the case. And then God be Godding, and he always wants to remind you. He wants to remind you where you've been so then you can do what he told you to do. He brought back to my remembrance that I've always wanted to make sure, even when I did not have a lot, one thing that I always wanted to make sure is that people had what they needed. So there's been multiple times where if I had anything left over and I went to the gas station and I saw a woman that even looked like she didn't have no money, I was filling up her gas tank. I've been in a grocery store and I've watched a woman, an older woman, decide if she was going to buy groceries or if she was going to pick her prescription up, and I bought both because that's where my heart desire is. I want to make sure that people have what they need. I want to make sure that women know that somebody is watching and got your back. And so God reminded me of that, and he said, there are still women out here that don't have their basic needs met. And I don't want you to ever forget that. And I was like, well, dang. God, okay. I won't forget it. Like, dang, Lord, like, I got you. And now what are you going to do about it? Ooh. And so I said all of that to say that while driving from the boys' daycare to my job, God brought all this to my remembrance, and I made the decision that as a part of the breakout woman, I am launching what's called the Breakout Fund. And what that is going to be making sure that everyday women can meet their everyday needs. What that looks like is, like, I've been a part of, with social media and all that stuff, there is a space for, even prior to social media, there's a space for women who are in business or want to start businesses, right? You can sign up for grants, or you can apply for grants. You can get seed money. You can get a credit card. Like, you can do all these things if you're getting ready to start a business, right? To get funding for your business. If you are a woman that really needs help, like you're not working, you maybe need government assistance, that's there for you, right? It may not be what you want, but there's government assistance there, right? But then there's this gap. There's this gap where women who simply are working every day, they are trying to make ends meet, and they are still living paycheck to paycheck and simply just don't have enough. Who comes to help them? And so I'm starting very small, but I want to create a space where I can provide funding, even if it's like for now tonight when I post the graphic, I'm going to be giving away $200 to a lady just to make sure that she can take care of her bills, or she can buy some groceries, or hell, she can take her kids out to a restaurant. Whatever she wants to do with it, it's going to be for her, right? And I know it's not a lot, especially in this inflated world we live in right now. But I remember when somebody would randomly bless me with a $20 when I needed it the most, and it changed everything. If nothing else, it showed me that God is a promise keeper, and he will never allow his children to go without. If it wasn't just a reminder of that. And so I want to be a reminder. So the Breakout Woman is so much more than me just coming on live and empowering women and giving you all these nuggets and doing all these things. It's bigger than that. How do I help the everyday woman get what she needs every single day? And I'm praying that, I'm going to, of course, make this like a full-blown business and all that stuff, to where that way I can apply to grants and be able to give on a much larger scale. But for right now, it's gonna be out of my pocket. I mentioned this to a couple of my people in my circle, and they were like, "Oh, I'm definitely donating money, for sure." And so I'll have funds donated from like friends and things of that nature. We'll basically have a pot that will be giving away money on a monthly basis to women who just need it. Here's the other thing. I don't want no woman to jump through hurdles to get this $100, $200, $300, $500. I don't. I'm also not going to announce it. It's not going to be the winner is blah, 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 blah. It ain't going to be nothing like that. It's going to be, go to the site, put your name and email and your Cash App on there. I'm going to enter into a drawing. Whoever gets it is going to be sent straight to your Cash App. There ain't going to be no announcements, because it's not about that. And also, who wants to be like, here's your truth? Like, we're not doing all that. And I say that to say that's important to me to say that, because I don't want it to be this long, drawn out, you got to follow us on Instagram, you got to repost us, and you got to, and I'm not saying any of that is bad. But that's not what we doing over here. You will just go to the site, and that's just for record keeping for myself, because I'm going to keep hella records, because people are going to start donating funds, and I want to keep a track record of like who's signing up, who I gave that money to, because the IRS don't play. I don't play about taxes and money. I don't do all that crazy stuff. And I want to make sure that when people are donating funds, that I can literally say this $100 went to that woman. And so that's the only reason why you will have to go through the site to do it. But when you go through the site, you just put your name, your email address. You ain't got to tell me no story about why you need the money. You ain't got to do none of that. You just put your name, your email address, and then you'll be automatically entered for that month to get the funds, and it'll be directly sent to either like your Zelle or your Cash App. And so I'm really, 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 really ready to do this, because this is what true women empowerment is about. When I look at like Maslow, is it Maslow or Maslow's hierarchy of needs? The empowerment piece, people feeling empowered, people feeling like they, have self-revelation and know who they are and all that stuff, that's the tip of the pyramid. There are several other layers that have not been met. If my basic safety and physical needs aren't met, I don't care what's happening up here. If my financial needs aren't met, I can't take care of the basics with my finance. That I don't care about what's happening up here. And so I realized that it's great that we want to empower women to be the best versions of themselves, and we want them to go after goals, and we want them to be bosses, and we want all those things. But in this time, people need their basic needs met. And that's where I want to meet people. And so I'm really excited to just be a small blessing, and be a small part of what I believe God is going to do, and what he's doing, what he's already been doing. God doesn't, the great thing about God is that he don't need us to do any of this, but he invites us to be a part of what he's doing. And I think that it's such a blessing to be a part of what God wants to do here on the earth. He wants us to be the hands and feet on the earth. He wants us to do these type of things. And so I'm just super blessed that I get to do that. And so without that's all I got. I just wanted to share that. If you are watching and you are a woman who is like, hey, I think this is the dopest idea ever that could truly help me, I want you to, I'm gonna finish the piece to the site to where you can sign up. But if you're like, hey, like I'm super interested, and like let me know when it's live, just shoot me a DM. It 9 times out of 10 will definitely be live by tomorrow evening. But if you're like, hey, just make sure you let me know when it's live, just shoot me a DM so I know to like hit you up and say, hey, it's live, it's ready to go. If you are someone and you're like, I think that is the dopest idea ever, I want to contribute and be a part of that, DM me and let me know, or you can email me. You can do whatever you need to do to get in contact with me. Any little bit helps, because whatever you give, I'm basically going to match it, or I'm going to, let me not say that, because some of y'all on here is big ballers. And let me tell you, I may not be able to match it. So I'm not going to get on here on this gram and on this Facebook and be lying. But whatever you give, I'm going to be giving out of my paychecks all the time. Like every time I get paid, I'm basically going to put $100 to $200 towards this. And so if you're like, hey, I want to do the same, or I want to help, just simply let me know. So then that way I can start keeping a record. There will be a whole separate bank account that is attached to the Breakout Women's business. It will not be, my personal account that you got to worry about. It will be a completely separate account that will take care of all of that. I will also send you receipts that tells you that your money went to this many women, and with their information. So that way you are aware as well. If you're simply somebody who's like, I think this is a dope idea, I don't have, the funds to be able to help or contribute. However, I am, praying with you. I'm also going to share the graphic that when you share it, that is a blessing too. And so in whatever capacity that you feel tied to what this is, it's truly a blessing. I'm excited. The Breakout Woman is definitely something that I feel God's hand is on. And I'm just excited that I get to put my hand on the plow and work with him to do it. So, whoop, whoop. That's all I got. If you just logged on, and you're like, what the heck are you talking about? Go back and watch it. It's good, I promise. And if you watched it and you got anything out of it, share it. I know I never say that, but I really do want women to know that this is available for them. And then also my ask is that once I drop the graphic that you guys share it as well. Because I want to make sure that, you know, my little shmoney is helping somebody. It ain't my money. It's really the Lord's money. Listen, it's actually both of our money. Because I'll be the one in the office, Lord, okay? I'll be the one in the office for 8 hours, okay? Now you gave me the ability to do so. So I'm not taking that from you. Okay? I just want it to be clear that it's ours. Okay? I'm gonna just shut up. I'm gonna just shut up. Oh, all right, you guys. Do you have any like questions for me? I know it's not a lot of you guys on there, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But again, I'm excited. I'm excited to build. I'm excited to continue to do what the Lord has called us to do. Yes, y'all, it's both ours. Listen, because this mouth will get you in trouble. As quick as he giveth, he will taketh. So I have to be very clear with the Lord that I understand. All right. I love you, friend. Why are you still up? Okay. It's 11 my time, which means it's 9. I thought we had an agreement. Okay. All right. I love y'all. Until next time, I'll see you later.